You know, somewhere around here. It has to be like something, you know? I don't know why. You know, who knows? And stuff. And things. I don't know. One day I'll figure it all out. Just gotta throw my stuff out of there. Let's see. Da-da. Da-da-da. I'm actually wondering if I have my water with me. Does I have my water with me? Did I bring it upstairs? I feel like I did. I could be totes wrong though. I know I am live. Wow, stream elements. Wow. Wow, you know I'm alive. Whoa. I'm so happy. Huh. What else do I got on here? It's like we got stuff out going. Boop. Let's see. Let's launch this game. Oh my god. It's always so loud in my ears. Holy crap. Danganronpa. I love that. I love it so much.
Danganronpa.
God, there's so much. Let's see. The only way to get more coins is if I do more. Do the chapters all over again. Oh, one of these days I just have to like sit down, do that. You know. All that magical stuff. Oh, hello. There we go. No. Oop. Why not? Why not just F it up? That works. I wonder where my water is. Huh. That'd be a thing to look for. Oh, just wait. get water. Oh. Out of water? I feel like I had others. I'll go find them. I'll be right back. You go find these. Anyways, getting another stream, so I can do this. Yep, just it noises. Did I not tweet it out? I did tweet it out. Wow, almost 40k tweets. That's crazy. I put it here too. My usual thing. Okay. Oh, I guess just you and me. Just you and me. Oh well, let's see.
Welcome to Danganronpa.
Love. Oh yeah, I have to make a gorgeous flower pin. I can make it? Yeah, sure. Now, who else do we gotta be friends with? Nagito is so close to being done. Let's do Nagito. Oh, everybody gotta sleep. You guys can just clean as you guys are done. Except for you, you gotta go sleep. Clean, Chiaki, clean! Oh, you have to go home. You have to be home, you have to be home. Okay. Everyone has to be home. I don't know. Da-da-da. I like how he has a little bit of drool right there. He's drilling in a sleepy. His mouth's all wide open. What would you like to go? Let's go meet with somebody. Who would you like to talk to? There's only one person. What would you like to do with Nagito? Let's spend time together. You must be really bored to actually come talk to me.
Yep.
It's fine. Let's just walk around the island together like before. Hey, I spent time with Nagito today, exploring the island. We get a little closer today. Would you like to give him a present? Fuck yeah. Let's give him a present. Let's see what I have. What do I have that he would actually like? Oops. Nagito, I don't remember what you like. I don't remember. I don't remember. Nagito. He likes a memory book? I only got one. A ragged notebook. The cover says Ko To memory book. The writings inside are too worn out to read. Kyoko? Atome? Huh? What is this item? Kyoko Atome? Huh? Is it Kyoko Atome? I don't think so. Maybe? I don't remember. Huh. Is it really okay to accept this?
This is exciting!
Just thinking about the bad luck that's waiting for me is making me feel all tingly.
Hey.
Hajime, why are you...
Well...
No, the reason doesn't matter. I just want to feel grateful for this good luck. I want to be thankful that there's someone who's interested in trash like me. The reason I'm here is because I wanted to hear the rest. What were you going to say?
Yep.
I don't mind. It's no big deal anyway. Like I said before, my parents are dead. Since I had no other relatives, it took direct action against me.
What does it mean? Well...
My diagnosis. Stage 3 malignant? Whatever. Lymphoma. And to top it off, it's accompanied by frontotemporal dementia. Ooh. My boy, you gonna die. Huh.
This is troubling.
Even now, my brain is deteriorating bit by bit while I'm speaking to you.
You're kidding me, right? Jeez.
My life expectancy is between half a year to a year. But right after I was diagnosed, I was accepted into Hope's Peak Academy. I believe that balanced things out. But now these killings are occurring, you know. As soon as my life entered the final round, it quickly became a roller coaster ride. But it's going to be alright. No matter the bad luck that happens, good luck always lies just beyond it. The reason I'm alive is because I always believe there's hope, no matter what. Do you understand me now, Hajime? No matter what his reasons were, I couldn't forgive all the things Nagito had done. That's what I'd been believing. But still...
Hajime. You and I are a lot alike.
Actually...
And that's why you understand my feelings. I felt that from the start. I don't feel the unique aura that exists in those who have talent from you. I only detect the scent of a miserable bystander, just like me.
That might be so, but...
No, I'm not miserable. I'm different from you.
Perhaps...
It seems there's no one who's willing to inherit my soul. I have no parents, no siblings, no relatives, not even friends or acquaintances. Because of my self-righteous thoughts, everyone distanced themselves from me. I was fine with that while I was still healthy, but it's quite lonely to die alone. Now that I'm on the verge of death, I finally realized what I wanted all along. Somebody's love. You. I read a book about something like that the other day. Huh.
I always do that whenever I'm like doing stuff. Where are you? He's like yelling at me.
It was right of me to cite a book written for the masses. Thanks to that, I was able to gain your empathy. Yes, I'm satisfied now. You were lying just now? No, everything you said up to this point, all of it, it was all lies?
Right?
Have you finally decided to kill me? If you want, I'll prepare the perfect crime. Then you can kill me, and you'll be saved. Let's commit the crime together so despair can become the foundation of hope. You can do it. I believe in you. After all, you tolerated someone like me this entire time. I'm sure a bright hope is sleeping inside you too. Nagito, just tell me one thing, and be honest. If you didn't have your ultimate luck, what would you be doing instead?
You're right.
I guess I would probably be living a peaceful life. A boring, normal life with no hope and no despair. I see. That's all. Goodbye.
I turned my back to him, and as I walked away, I could hear Nagito's voice in the distance.
Please, don't forget.
Oh boy.
From the bottom of my heart, I am truly in love with the hope that sleeps inside you.
Okay. In the end, everything Nagito said, I don't know what was true and what was lies. Yeah, but even so, there might have been a definite truth hidden somewhere in his words. If there wasn't, there's no way I could feel this mysterious bond between Nagito and me. If he does obtain the hope he wants, what is he going to do? Strangely enough, I feel like I want to see that. Complete. Nagito's report card has been updated based on your experience with him. You just unlocked the skill, Trance. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've earned it. And you got some underwear. You have obtained Nagito's underwear. Nice. I left the area, deep in thought. Everyone, it's nighttime. Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Good night. She's so nice, I love her. I love that she beat up fucking Monokuma. Yeah! I feel so pumped up that I can probably make like 100 songs. Ibuki seems to be feeling pretty good. Since you're all working so hard, here you go. Okay, have a nice day. Oh, we have to make 2? Oh man, what am I missing? Ugh, everything. I didn't know I had to make 2. Well, I have time. Actually, you know what? What the fuck do I need? Rope. Is it black flour? Oh, we need 2 black flowers. Now we need white flour, gold, and silver. Okay, well, we should be good.
You can clean. Me gold and silver? White flower, gold, and silver. Go. White flower. Yeah, actually, you know what? Clean. You gotta go sleep. Yeah, go sleep. And then you can look for the fucking white flower. You think that'd be good? Why are you going to sleep? You don't need to sleep. Yeah, I think this is good. I think.
Da da da, da da da.
Did I get a white flower? Ooh, there's a white flower. And some more. Darn it, not enough white flowers.
What would you like to do? Let's go spend it with somebody. Who should I talk to?
I don't know, who should we talk to actually? That is a good question. Brain?
Who should we talk to? Chiaki!
Let's find her. Let's find the best girl.
Chiaki! What would you like to do with Chiaki? Let's spend time together. As I miss you, Chiaki. Do I remember how to do your voice? Probably not.
Probably not. Whew. Oh god, where is she?
Cat? What the? Cat?
She's like existing by my leg. I'm like, no.
The water's so good.
I'm starting to get sleepy.
Hey.
Let's go somewhere with good airflow. It'll probably feel good to sleep there.
We went to the park and I spent some time making small talk with Chiaki before she dozed off.
She dozed off? She just like passed the fuck out.
Looks like Chiaki and I grew a little closer. Would you like to give her a fucking present? Fuck yeah. What would you like to give her?
Everything. Let's see. Where is it? Tips? Oh no, I don't have that. 62. I do have. Oh my god, power gauntlet. Let's give it to her. No, that's not what I wanted. Isn't that a pretty rare item? This seems a little... I feel like it might raise the flag. Hey, where do you want to go today? This is the first time I've seen Chiaki look so interested.
Hi, Giseo. Or Giseo? Whatever. Hello, Giseo. Good. Hello. What's up? I'm doing good. Just hanging about, being cool. How are you?
This is the first time I've seen Chiaki look so interested. And she's not even sleeping. Maybe she was looking forward to this. Let's see. Why don't we check out the storage room in the old building? We might find something interesting.
Yep.
Like Sokoban. That's a fun game to play. It's this old puzzle game where you have to push boxes in a warehouse to their assigned spots. Oh, I see.
Let's go.
Then let's win over Monami so we can go inside the storage room.
Chiaki pumped herself up, and after winning over Monami, we went into the storage room.
There's not a whole lot you can push and pull.
Don't tell me you were serious about playing Sokoban in the storage room. No wonder she seems so excited about coming here.
Hey.
Hey, Hajime. Are you good at puzzle games? No, I'm not that good at using my brain.
You think so?
Really? Maybe you just don't like them because you haven't played that many?
Well,
You know, how to properly theorize in order to view things, and you can calmly manage when it's important. I feel like you'd be good at puzzle games once you got the hang of it.
Huh. You really see me like that? Uh-huh. I'm glad you missed my streams, GCO. Ay. That kind of embarrasses me.
see?
For example, Rubik's Cubes and jigsaw puzzles are puzzle games too. Oh yeah, I remember putting together a lot of jigsaw puzzles when I was little.
See?
Yep. Then you already know the trick, right?
The trick to jigsaw puzzles was to assemble the outer pieces first. That's what I usually do. It's like, for jigsaw puzzles, you just go from the outside in. That's how it goes.
You assemble from the outer pieces, right?
Yep.
That's right. First, you separate the pieces with edges. Afterward, you separate the leftover by colors.
Or by colors. Wait, leftovers by color. Ugh.
It makes putting it together a lot easier. I see. Now I kind of feel like I'm putting one together since it's been such a long time. Kind of feel like putting one together. Hey!
Man, I haven't done puzzles in forever.
That reminds me. My father always programmed puzzle games. Your father is a programmer?
Yep.
Apparently, he was pretty manly when he was focusing in front of his laptop. But I heard he couldn't solve a puzzle he made, and it really depressed him. But since he hated losing, he actually went out of his way to write a program.
Or write a separate program. Whew.
And then he made the program do stuff like a brute force attack. What? It's a way of forcibly finding the answer. No worries though, it's normal for you not to know.
I don't really understand, but it seems like Chiaki knows about programming. But more importantly, why does everything she say about her father sound like hearsay? Wouldn't that mean she didn't personally see it?
Hey.
We should get going and head back. Yeah, you're right.
Huh?
Huh?
I quickly opened my arms and caught Chiaki as she fell into them.
Are you okay? How embarrassing. I've never tripped before in my life.
As she said that, she stepped away from my chest. My heart sounds really loud. Of course it does. It's my heart.
That surprised me. You're pretty hard, Hajime. That is... Unlike me, your arms and chest are really built. You're definitely a boy.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah, that's obvious. Yep. You didn't mean anything else. Woo!
But I'm glad you caught me. That means I'll be fine in case of emergencies.
Sleepy.
Even if I suddenly get sleepy, I'll be fine. You can carry me.
Fucking passes out.
Hey, don't sleep.
Chiaki's report card has been updated. Man, Chiaki, don't say things like that. I desperately tried to keep Chiaki from falling asleep and walked her back to her room. Chiaki, no.
Everyone, it's nighttime.
Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Good night. Good night. Day 11. Day 12.
Well,
I'm planning to try hard. Until I get sleepy, that is. Chiaki seems to be feeling pretty good. Do I have enough? I have a day left. I need white flour and I still need silver. Yeah, you go sleep. We have to clean. Okay, everybody just go here. And then you guys will be cleaning. And then you go pass out. You go find that fucking flower. Cleaning. No, actually, you know what? Go find that flower. Clean. Flower. I don't think the flower is anywhere else except for there. Maybe in other places that I have yet to know. Okay, I think we're good. And then tab. Like so much Chiaki is so cute. I know, Chiaki's adorable. I love her. Go Chiaki, go! Go Chiaki! Oh, oh my god, we found so many white flowers. Yes, white flowers. All the white flowers for me. What would you like to do? I would like to go out with somebody. Go meet with somebody. Who we gonna meet up with? Chiaki, because we have to plug in, do her stuff. How much does she have? Port card. Yeah, we have one more with Chiaki. Okay. Actually, clean your poop. So one more with Chiaki and then we're good. Where's Chiaki? What would you like to do? Spend time with you. I'm starting to get sleepy.
Hey.
Let's go somewhere with good airflow. It'll probably feel good to sleep there. Yep. We went to the park and I spent time making small talk with Chiaki before she dozed off. There we go. Looks like Chiaki and I grew a little closer. Would you like to give her a fucking present? Fuck yeah. What would you like to fucking give her? I don't know yet. Okay, let's see. What else does she like? Do I even have any? Oh, I do. Isn't that a pretty rare item? This seems a little... I feel like it might raise the flag. There's somewhere I want to go with you today. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Anywhere is fine. It's the first time Chiaki has picked a place herself. My heart is starting to race. Chiaki took me to the beach.
The beach.
She's looking around for some reason.
Hey, why did you pick the beach after all this time? Did you want to go swim or something?
In those types of games, usually you'd put lotion on my back, right? And then you'd touch me in a weird place, and I'd yell at you. It's a standard tactic.
Huh?
Oh, which reminds me, where do you think the legendary tree is growing? What kind of game are you talking about now?
Well,
I shall give you 3 choices for what we're going to do from now on. Please select from the following 3. Is this a new game of hers or something? I opened the piece of paper Chiaki gave me. Do I really have to choose one of these? fucking happy joy joy.
Happy joy. Oh, what does this even mean?
I don't really know either, but it's probably something like this. Suddenly, Chiaki started running. Catch me if you can. She continued running across the beach. I had no choice, so I chased her. After chasing her around for a little bit, we felt really tired and sat down on the beach.
Chiaki, what in the world are we doing?
I was thinking about overcoming the genre. Genre, there we go. I'm bad at it. Or bad at.
Bad at? Oh, now I remember. The other day you mentioned that there are games you're not good at.
Apparently, my father also wasn't good at things like this. Well, this is the most difficult after all. But, I see. So this is what it feels like.
Why do you feel convinced by yourself?
Hey.
Just now, that was a date, right? I think those are usually a little different. But I sort of understand what Chiaki meant when she said she's not good at this genre. It probably means dating sims. After spending time with you, I realized something for the first time. There are a lot of things I still don't understand. For example, I know how babies are made, but I don't really know how to fall in love with someone. I want to cosplay as Chiaki one day. That's like a goal. One day, maybe next year. Because I want to cosplay as Chiaki. And then I also kind of want to cosplay as Nagito. But Chiaki I want to cosplay as. Gotta stuff my bras. Yep. That sort of thing. Why would you use that as an example?
What happened?
Oh, what happened? Your face is red, Hajime.
Nothing happened.
Yep.
Just as I thought, there's still a bunch of stuff I don't know anything about. I want to know more about lots of things. Because if I do, I'll be able to understand much more. I think.
Well?
So, can you keep teaching me, Hajime?
Yeah, of course. But in order to do that, we need to hurry up and get off this island.
Don't ever forget about me. Even after you get out of here.
Huh?
I don't know why Chiaki would say something like that, but there's no denying the strong bond I feel between Chiaki and myself. I'll definitely get out of here and take Chiaki to a lot of different places.
Fragment. Woo! Co-op partner. He doesn't like the skill cheat code. Give yourself a pat on the back. Panties! You got Chiaki's panties.
I kind of want to look at them. Like contours. After discussing different ideas about where we should go next, I returned to my room.
Everyone, it's nighttime. Please get plenty of rest so you can do your very best again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night. So today's the day, huh? I guess I better review everything one more time. The goal was 2 gorgeous flower pins. Do I have enough? Oh, no, I don't have silver! I don't have silver. Yeah, I was so busy trying to get fucking flowers. I didn't get silver. I don't have enough. Oh, no. I only have 1.
Was it a little difficult? The next goal is
10 fucking flower pins.
right here.
Rejoice, commoners. For today, I will show you just how far above you far above you I am.
Yakio seems to be feeling pretty good.
I fucking failed. Fuck.
God, I can't believe it. I failed.
Failed. Failed at life. Well, let's get to the best part, because I fucking failed. I failed. Let's read this fucking crazy thing. The craziness that is this light novel, where this is a entirely different take of the first game, where where is it? Mukuro Ikisawa, yeah, the sister of Junko, actually survives. She doesn't die, and was it Nagi? Is his name Nagi? No. Yes. No. Yes. One of them. I fucking forgot. I'm so bad. Our boy, our shining boy, remembers everything suddenly, and then now Junko is just like, oh, actually, I'm trying to save you guys from, like, you know, them, because they're terrible people who are trying to kill you. And now we're trying to run away. Yep. A lot of stuff happened. It was crazy. But this is just a lot of reading. So enjoy my terrible reading voice and voice acting. Hooray! Thanks to the heated battle that was unfolding in the gymnasium, Mikuro Ikusawa was able to buy more time than she had imagined. As soon as she entered the nurse's office, she rummaged around for medical supplies and did what she could to stop the bleeding. Though still quite shallow, Makoto's breathing slowly stabilized. Mikuro let out a little sigh of relief. However, even though she was somehow able to stop the bleeding, she wasn't out of the woods yet. Miraculously enough, it seemed like none of Makoto's major arteries or organs were damaged. Was this perhaps thanks to his ultimate luck? Or maybe he wasn't actually all that lucky. After all, the only sort of medical treatment he could hope for was partial at best. Mikuro couldn't decide. If only I could do a blood transfusion. The nurse's office should have had several blood packs for transfusions. Mikuro suspected that Makoto's blood type might be written in his e-handbook, but as she reached over to search his pockets... Haha. I see you're reaching for a sleeping boy's clothes. What in the world is about to happen next? Adults can keep playing, but you kids better press the B button, okay? Mikuro turned toward the familiar voice and saw Monokuma standing before her. You're all alone with Makoto right now. Just think of me as a cute wild animal and let your lust lead the way. As the headmaster, I must prevent any illicit sexual relationships. Physical education classes are just fine, Missy. Though he looked just like the one that was at the gym, it was clearly a different Monokuma. Multiple Monokumas had been placed throughout the entire academy, so it wasn't a stretch for him to suddenly appear out of nowhere. Regardless, the same person was controlling all of them. Mikuro was very wary, or had been wary of Monokuma attacking her while she was treating Makoto's wounds. But his appearance at this particular moment seemed to take her by surprise. Junko? Asked Mikuro cautiously. Monokuma tilted his head, along with his entire upper body, inquisitively. Junko? Who's that? Junko... I've never heard of that country before. No more jokes. Answer me, Junko. You were planning to kill me earlier, right? Junko this, Junko that. What's your problem? I'm telling you, I'm Monokuma. You must be a big disappointment if you can't even remember something like that. You're just a disappointment as a person. You're a disappointment as a sister, too. You're too skinny and your brain is nothing but muscle. And your personality is just unbearable. I'm sorry, said Mikuro. She didn't need to apologize, but hearing her little sister call her a disappointment yet again was enough to make the ultimate soldier recoil. I feel like my cat's just looking for stuff.
Monokuma ignored her in her current situation, climbed on top of Makoto's barely breathing body, and began poking his cheeks.
So what are we gonna do with Makoto now? I'm really interested in human mating habits, you know?
What are you? Asked Makuro before trailing off. Monokuma lowered his tone and began whispering into her ear.
Makoto's really, pretty nice guy, huh? He even sacrificed himself to save you. He's so generous. He's actually hopeless.
He's not dead yet, insisted Makuro. Despite her firm tone, she couldn't hide the fear lingering in her voice.
That's the most disappointing thing about you. You can't even say, I won't let him die.
I won't let him die, Junko. Makuro could barely put a word in, or get a word in, as Monokuma erupted into boo-hoo-hoos and ah-ha-has, and continued to torment her.
As if you could do that. Too bad. No grits. See you tomorrow. Blah. Is this all because Makoto was the first person to smile at you? You, a disappointed, depressing, unladylike, inhuman killing machine.
Despite denying that he was Junko, Monokuma began speaking at length about Makuro's past. This contradiction was very much like Junko, and Makuro was so shaken that all she could do was watch the bear prattle on and on.
Only the fit survive in this world. The only thing that kind-hearted people can do is die, you know. As proof, you're gonna watch Makoto die really soon.
You won't die. Makuro's tone of voice had become irregular ever since she took off her Junko wig. Aside from her conversation with Makoto, everything she said as Junko was from a script. She said as Junko was from a script that her sister had written. But now, there was no script for Makuro to rely on anymore. Makuro was treating Monokuma like she would treat her own sister. If the other students saw her acting so weak, they'd never believe she was the same person who fought Sakura in the gym. And not just that. If anyone from her mercenary past could see her now, her stark change in attitude might make them think she was someone else entirely. Monokuma continued to rail against Makuro.
Nope. He's gonna die. I know it's sad, but you just have to face the facts.
Monokuma wriggled his limbs and danced around, then pointed right at Makuro's face.
Because Makoto is going to die by your hands.
Huh?
Infighting among the terrorists. The big bad terrorist silences the weak-willed Makoto before he can leak any information. Doesn't that happen all the time? In the end, all the desperate things you said in the gym turned out to be lies you told just to escape.
Makuro frowned at Monokuma. You can't do that, Junko. I won't let you do that. As she blurted out those words in a trembling voice, Makuro was gripped with confusion about what she just said. Am I defying Junko right now? Why? It was a strange feeling. To Makuro, it was like she was standing on the ledge of a tall building and imagining what could happen if she jumped. Or would. A destructive feeling, akin to holding a friend's baby and wondering what would happen if you tripped and fell. Before she knew it, fear and anxiety had suddenly taken control of Makuro's heart. As a member of Fenrir, and as ultimate despair, Makuro had killed innumerable people. Wow, words are really hard. Woo! She had handled live grenades before. She had descended upon the sky in a parachute as anti-aircraft weaponry fired all around her. Her heart never wavered on the battlefield, but now it felt like oh my god, wow! It felt like it could collapse at any second. Monokuma, however, was as stable as a tree, and slightly tilted his head to the side.
Huh? Aren't you listening to my story? I'm not the one who's gonna kill Makoto. You are.
What are you saying, Junko? Monokuma began giving a strange explanation to a very confused Makuro.
Do you know what the suspension bridge effect really means? It means you push the person you love off a bridge, and they'll be yours for eternity.
I haven't heard that at all.
Life doesn't always follow what your textbooks say. It's sad, but that's what love is.
His words made no sense, and Makuro couldn't think of anything to say as she stood there dumbfounded. Meanwhile, Monokuma continued his little speech, intentionally saying things meant to antagonize Makuro.
Basically, this is your big chance, you know? If you kill Makoto right here and now, nobody will ever take him away from you again. Makoto, Nagi, dead by dawn. The last name he ever spoke was Makuro Ikusaba. The last person he ever smiled at was Mikuro Ikusaba. Doesn't that sound wonderful?
There was a certain appeal to Monokuma's twisted suggestion, and Makuro found herself unsure of her own judgment. This is wrong. It has to be wrong. But it's really Junko saying all this. So doesn't that mean it's right? No. This isn't Junko. It's Monokuma. Monokuma.
And are you sure you want to help Makoto? Once he gets better, he's gonna know everything. He'll know what you did to your classmates. I can't believe you would actually erase your friends' memories of their time together and force them to kill each other. Makoto might get mad at you and say, "Our real enemy isn't the bear, it's her." Do you really want him to blame you for this?
Makuro's face turned pale.
Or are you going to kill the others? If everyone except you and Makoto dies, you'll be able to spend the rest of your school life here. Or life together. I can't hold a class trial with only 2 people. It might be a good idea for you both to live the rest of your lives in this academy forever.
No, that's wrong.
And what are you gonna do if his memories return? It's not like you were dating Makoto or anything. Ooh. You were just watching him from afar the whole time. Man, you're so shy. You can shoot people's hearts and brains no problem, but you can't even woo some stupid boy into liking you. Do you want to know what Makoto had a crush on? Wait, do you want to know who Makoto had a crush on before his memories were taken away?
Makuro trembled as Monokuma continued pressing the issue, gradually loosening the screws keeping her heart secure. So Makuro chose to pretend she didn't hear anything at all. All emotion vanished from her face, and she looked silently for Makoto's handbook.
If you're looking for his blood type, it's not written in the handbook.
Makuro's face turned pale. Within 5 seconds, her plan to ignore Monokuma had already failed.
But since your headmaster is made up of 50% kindness, I'll tell you anyway. Makoto's blood type is B.
As soon as she heard him say that, all the anxiety, horror, hostility, malice, and dread churning within Makuro had completely vanished. Thank you, Junko. Makuro's eyes sparkled without a hint of suspicion, so she turned her back to Monokuma without a hint of suspicion, and walked toward the refrigerator containing the blood packs. Fresh blood packs should have been prepared before the plan took effect. They'll last in the cold storage for 21 days. They should still be good.
Hello, Devon.
Despite her emotionless face, Makuro let herself feel a small amount of satisfaction as she took a blood pack from the refrigerator. As Monokuma watched her, his normally emotionless eyes twitched ever so slightly. If a third party could see his face right now, or even if the other students could see his face right now, they'd wonder.
Is Monokuma surprised?
That's right. They'd have the same shocked look on their faces as if they were seeing Monokuma for the first time. At that moment, a whisper crept out of Monokuma's emotionless face.
There should be a limit to how disappointing you can be.
It was far quieter than a mosquito's wings. Even with her battle-hardened hearing, Makuro couldn't hear what he said. Monokuma shook his head, and the voice returned to normal.
It's not like I care that you, the ultimate despair, has hope in anything. It's not that I expected much from you to begin with, so this will at least help me to feel despair. But seriously, you disappoint me. Just so you know, despair and disappointment are completely different things, okay? There is difference of bears and pandas.
Oh, are you? Makuro's body started to shake as she turned back to look at Monokuma. He hadn't started talking any different than usual. Junko hadn't turned off the voice modulator and started talking in her real voice or anything. And yet, Makuro was utterly terrified. She was terrified on instinct, not as a soldier. Half the reason she was terrified was because of her instincts as the ultimate despair, and the other half was because she was Junko's older sister. Even through Monokuma, her instincts were telling her that Junko was annoyed with her. Junko? Why are you annoyed? Is it because I betrayed you? Or is it because I didn't die like you wanted me to?
Ugh.
Sobbed Monokuma.
I'm beyond annoyed. I'm really, really angry, and I'm really, really disappointed right now. I'm so pissed I could take a rage nap right now.
Monokuma's anger didn't seem any different from his usual anger towards the students, but Makuro could instinctively sense another emotion mixed with it. Right now, she could feel that Junko was feeling hopeless disappointment. It's normal for someone who's disappointed to lose hope, but for the ultimate despair, disappointment means something else entirely. To them, disappointment was tantamount to losing despair itself. Makuro was a member of ultimate despair. At her sister's behest, Makuro had soiled her hands many times in order to fill the world with despair. Despite her pride toward being a member of ultimate despair, there was a clear difference between Makuro and her sister. Junko Enoshima was despair incarnate. She was born in despair, letting it affect other people's hope so it could rot them from the inside out, twisting them into her own image. For Junko, feeling hope was its own despair. Creating despair in others created despair in herself, which caused her to feel both intense pain and intense bliss. Junko had walked the fracture created from the conflict between pleasure and penance all her life. Eventually, the fracture would widen until it swallowed the world and tore it in half. But Makuro, on the other hand, had neither hope nor despair for the world. At least, not when she was a member of Fenrir. Ever since she was a child, Makuro believed she was meant to spread despair because of her sister. She didn't harbor any ill will toward the world. She simply accepted she was meant to spread despair, and chose to walk the same path as her sister. The doubt she felt was only a recent development. When Junko told her about the plan, when she watched the world burn at the hands of terrorists wearing Monokuma masks, she never wavered once. However, as soon as she heard about her sister's plan to make their classmates kill each other, Makoto included, a strange feeling began to stir within her. What started as a seed of doubt soon grew into a thorny vine, ensnaring Makuro's feet. As soon as she disguised herself as Junko and finished meeting the other students, as soon as she had confirmed that everyone's memories had been completely taken away, that vine began tightening around Makuro's heart. They're gone. Junko's the only one who knows about me now. That's it. But that's no problem. It's just like old times. Things will never go back to how they used to be. But that's fine. This should be fine. She had relinquished the past 2 years she had spent with her friends, so she could betray them and deliver death and despair onto them. Though her heart ached, Makuro was beyond feeling guilt or remorse for her actions. But the question, why does my heart ache like this, still remained unanswered. Perhaps that's why she spent so much time talking to Makoto when he was in the nurse's office. And when Makoto gave her that one particular answer, something changed inside her.
In return.
Wait, in return, I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. The words Makuro blurted out to Makoto weren't improvised to further her role as Junko. It was an honest sentiment from the bottom of her heart. She was even planning to ask Junko herself if Makoto could somehow be spared from her plan. Over the past 2 years, Makuro's interests had been slowly shifting away from her sister and toward the world itself. By extension, her interest also included Makoto, the first person to ever smile at her and make her feel connected to the world.
He was like a sapling of pure honesty that had taken root in Makuro's heart. But by the time she realized that, the tree had already rotted. As Makuro struggled to understand the situation, Monokuma let out a sigh and said,
I wonder which part of you is a wolf anyway. You're just a dog that blindly follows Junko's orders. What does the tattoo on your hand even mean? Are you just a bitch who's pledged her loyalty to her owner? I bet Toka would say that. I'm positive.
Monokuma continued to talk as Makuro stood in confusion.
I was obviously lying when I said Makoto's blood type is B.
What? You lied, Junko?
A normal person would have been suspicious. I never thought you'd actually believe me just now. I must have misplaced my eyes because I totally did not see that coming. Not even with my ability to predict the future. How shocking. Jeez, how about I start crying my eyes out like some sort of robot? Like some sort of robot cat. Seriously.
It's going to be okay, Junko, said Makuro. I know our plan kind of fell apart, but I'm still on your side. Are you feeling alright? Because I'll do anything.
Snap.
A harsh sound came from Monokuma's mouth.
That sound was one of my circuits overloading. It's been so long since I felt this angry. Meet me on the roof of the school. I'll smash out all your baby teeth.
Monokuma started shadowboxing in front of Makuro, who remained frozen in place, clutching a blood pack in her hand. She still looked confused, and Monokuma threw up his hands in frustration.
You're so disappointing, I can't even predict it anymore. Roar.
A threatening roar burst from Monokuma's mouth as he leaped at Makuro with his sharp claws extended. At that moment, her face became completely emotionless. It was not a conscious act. Or action. The defensive instincts she honed during her time with Fenrir temporarily suppressed her emotions as she countered Monokuma's attack. Makuro grabbed a nearby IV stand and used it to parry Monokuma's claws. However, Monokuma's claws seemed to be made with a special alloy and easily sliced the bar in half diagonally. But instead of following up his attack, Monokuma continued talking to Makuro.
I guess you're not much of a disappointment when it comes to fighting. In fact, if you were so pathetic that you died from that single attack, that would have been interesting in its own way. But right now, you're just incompetent at everything.
I'm sorry, said Makuro. I couldn't help blocking your attack. But there's no way I can fight you, Junko. After all, I'm all you have. I'm the only one who understands you at all. Makuro's words were riddled with endless dismay. The contrast between her usual stoic self and the way she was acting now was so stark, people might assume she had multiple personalities. However, Monokuma just quietly stared at her. He was perfectly still, as if all his functions had powered down completely. But Makuro continued to share her feelings. There's no way I can just leave you alone. And then Monokuma broke his silence. But at that moment, a monitor in the nurse's office lit up, displaying a girl's face, Junko Anashima. At the same time, a voice completely unlike Monokuma's began to play from the speakers. Hey, Makuro. Junko. It had been several days since Makuro had heard her sister's real voice. Though her face remained emotionless, excitement sparkled in her eyes. However, that shine immediately dulled. I'm grateful to you, Makuro. I mean it. Junko's voice, emanating from the speakers, sounded very gentle and kind. Junko? I'm really sorry. I said so many mean things to you. I even tried to kill you earlier. And I was about to make you do something horrible just now. Even though I know your feelings towards Makoto, you don't have to force yourself. Even if you didn't notice, it was totally obvious to anyone looking at you. You never cared about the class photos, but when Makoto said he was going to take one, you made sure that you were facing the camera. And then, Junko Anashima, the ultimate despair. Junko Anashima, the ultimate despair, flashed a smile. A pure, sweet smile. On the monitor. Ow! That hurt. On the monitor, she looked like a normal high school girl, teasing her older sister. And yet, Makuro could feel despair and anxiety encasing themselves around her.
I always thought you should have tried hard to take pictures with Makoto, but I guess that's what makes you so disappointing. Still, even though you're disappointing and annoying, I still love you. Makuro trembled upon hearing those words. I love you. That's all she ever wanted to hear her sister say. Makuro believed. No matter what Junko said, she believed she really loved her. She believed she was the only one who could truly understand the despair known as Junko and Nishima. She was naive. As soon as she heard Junko say, I love you, Makuro realized she never completely understood her sister. It was only at this moment that Makuro finally understood her sister's feelings. Junko's words right now were kind. Perhaps that kindness was completely honest. The words, I love you, might have been true as well. However, for Junko and Nishima, this was her way of saying goodbye. She was severing the ties between them. It was painfully clear to Makuro. And then, before she could even say anything, the girl on the monitor made a remark that cut Makuro to the bone. I'm sure someday you'll make your dreams come true. Ultimate Despairs never talked to each other like this. A simple truth stabbed in Makuro's heart. Junko had no further use for her. Her own sister was parting ways with her. Makuro had dedicated over 10 years of her life to the cause of ultimate despair, and at this moment, it all counted for nothing. But those years no longer mattered to Makuro. Her sister's rejection was more than enough to send her into depths of despair. That's why Makuro, even now, clung to a small sliver of hope. Meanwhile, Junko was still on the monitor. Yeah, right. Did you really think I'd say something that nice? You're so annoying. Can't you just hurry up and disappear already? Makuro hoped Junko would say something like that. She hoped that she'd start verbally abusing her again, or call her useless and incompetent. Makuro was no masochist, but she preferred to be showered with bullets and contempt than endure this kind of emotional pain. But I love you, Makuro. Bye-bye. The monitor went black, leaving Makuro to process the horrible goodbye she just received. And as if on cue, Monokuma started moving again. Isn't family love so nice? By the way, did you know that in about half of all murder cases the killer is a family member? Monokuma spoke in his usual tone of voice, but it was unclear if his words were getting through to Makuro. Makuro let the blood pack in her hand fall to the floor and tightened her grip on the iron bar she was still holding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Junko, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. She mumbled quietly as if she were chanting a spell and walked past the blood pack on the floor to Makoto's bedside with the iron bar in her hands. I'll do it properly. I'll make sure I do it. So... Oh? Said Monokuma, perking up. What are you gonna do properly? What are you gonna properly do to Makoto with that big, thick rod you got there? Are you gonna do him? Are you gonna do him in? Either way, I'm starting to feel some heart-throbbing excitement. Makuro looked like she had been completely broken. Monokuma walked closer to her with eager anticipation. Suddenly, Monokuma's body suddenly floated into the air. Huh? With no expression on his face, Monokuma tried to see what had just happened to him. And in the blink of an eye, an iron bar ripped through his body. The tip of the bar, which had been cut diagonally early into a sharp point, went straight through Monokuma and stabbed into the surveillance camera. The lens was completely destroyed, and the camera shot out sparks as if broken down. The iron bar was still stabbed into the surveillance camera as Monokuma dangled from the other end. He opened his mouth as if to say something, but only static came out. A few seconds later, his functions came to a complete stop. Without making a sound at all, Makuro had kicked Monokuma into the air. As soon as Monokuma's power source and his bomb circuit had perfectly aligned with the surveillance camera in the nurse's office, Makuro plunged the iron bar into all three of them.
No normal human has the skill to utilize such a technique. Not even an ultimate. All the hesitation within Makuro had vanished. Her eyes sparkled like a panther stalking its prey at night. A tense aura surrounded Makuro, even more so than when she fought Sakura earlier. Ignoring Monokuma's lifeless form, she looked at Makoto as he breathed softly and remembered her sister's parting words. So this is despair. She mumbled to herself. I'm so sorry, Junko. I never really understood what despair was. She spoke without emotion, like a machine. But it's going to be alright now. I finally understand. And within her, passions began to stir. So, I'll make sure I make you happy, Junko. I'll make sure I fill you with despair. I'll save Makoto. I'll make sure the others don't die. I'll let them escape from this place. I'll deal with the people on the outside too. You invested so much time and killed so many people for the sake of this plan. And I'll destroy every last remnant of it. For you. This was not an act of vengeance toward her sister, who had abandoned her. This was an act of mercy. Struck between the ultimate despair and the hope she gained from Makoto, Makuro was being refined to something that was unlike despair or hope, and she had no way of knowing where her path would lead.
Ooh, things getting crazy now. Anyway, over 10 minutes had passed.
The sound of the students leaving the gym and making their way into the nurse's office rang throughout the hall. Genocide Jack had continued to dodge Sakura's attack with her tricky movements. But when Byakuya blurted out, Enough already, you irritating pervert, Genocide Jack stopped in her tracks.
Oh my. Getting chewed out by my bespectacled? Yep. Byakuya is making my masochistic side get all tingly. They say the line between sadism and masochism is paper thin, but in my case it's more like a Venn diagram. Words can explain these hot waves of passion squirming from the top of my head to the tips of my toes.
As she rambled incoherently about Byakuya, the other students tied her up with a microphone cable from the gym and locked her in her room. Half the students stayed behind to keep an eye on her, while the rest left to search the grounds of the school. As soon as the doors of the nurse's office opened, Kyoko saw a malfunctioning Monokuma with a hole in its chest and the remains of her surveillance camera. It wasn't just the nurse's office, though. On their way there, the students had seen several destroyed surveillance cameras and scattered Monokuma bodies. This was a clear violation of school regulations, but if Makuro was allied with Monokuma, those regulations would apply to her anyway. The Monokuma inside the gym was no longer moving, but the students had lost contact with the hacker, Bashiki Marai. So the students assumed that Marai had taken control of a different Monokuma and went after Makuro on his own. With that in mind, Kyoko turned and looked inside the nurse's office once again. It was unusually quiet. The beds were empty, but Kyoko could see from the bloodstains that someone had been resting there recently. Looks like they're already gone. Or shit. Looks like they're already gone, Mundo remarked, but as he was about to leave, Kyoko spoke up behind him. I'm going to stay here with Chihiro and search for clues.
Huh?
Her timid eyes widening. Asked Chihiro, her timid eyes widening.
Clues?
Kyoko continued to speak in a calm tone of voice. Yes. There may be some clues in these Monokuma remains. I figured it would be the best candidate for investigating machinery. Sakura spoke up. But isn't that dangerous? Since Sakura could clearly hold her own in a fight with Makuro, she had joined the other students in searching the school grounds. Kyoko shook her head and replied, I'm sorry to say this, but if things get out of hand, Chihiro and I will just be in your way. I think it's better if we search for clues here instead of doing nothing. Besides, we might be able to use Monokuma's parts to detect any radio broadcast from the outside world. You certainly have a point. Understood. We'll be exploring the floor for a while. Please shout for us if anything happens. Sakura left the nurse's office. How did she destroy Monokuma like this?
Or I should say, how did she destroy Monokuma like this?
As Chihiro cautiously stood over Monokuma's remains, Kyoko started searching through the room. She zeroed in on one of the beds and began studying it intensely. A moment later, Kyoko was satisfied with what she found and let out a small sigh before she spoke. Chihiro, let me apologize to you in advance.
Huh?
I dragged you into this gamble of mine, so if anything happens, run out into the hall and call for help.
What does that mean?
But instead of answering Chihiro's question, Kyoko started talking to one of the empty beds. Let me say this first. I'm prepared to hear your story. No matter how ridiculous it may sound, I promise not to decide if it's a lie or the truth until after I've listened to it in its entirety. Chihiro looked confused. She didn't understand what Kyoko meant at all. The ultimate... question mark. Lowered her eyes and turned to the ultimate programmer to make a request. Chihiro, does your laptop have a voice recording function? And do you also have a microphone?
Huh? Yeah.
I want to use that to record everything we're about to hear.
Huh? But there's no one here.
As Chihiro wondered to herself, she began connecting Monokuma's parts to her laptop and turned on the record function.
I'm sure we'll pick up every sound in this room now,
said Chihiro nervously. Satisfied, Kyoko nodded and once again started talking to the empty bed. So what were you going to do if I told everyone that I'd found Makoto? When she heard Kyoko say that, Chihiro looked back at her and was surprised by what she saw. At that moment, the ultimate programmer was kneeling on the floor next to Monokuma's remains. From that position, she was able to see it. Of all the beds in the nurse's office, there was one bed in particular that couldn't be seen from the entrance. Underneath that bed lay a limp Makoto. A blood pack was hidden next to the bed, and slowly providing Makoto with a transfusion. The contents of the blood pack were clear. Rather than blood, it seemed to be some kind of saline solution used in emergency hydration. Though it wouldn't be as effective as an actual blood transfusion, it was enough to keep him from going into shock. Though that was the extent of Chihiro's medical knowledge. She was already surprised that Makoto had been in the nurse's office this whole time. Not only that, but Kyoko wasn't talking to the bed that Makoto was under, which sent chills throughout Chihiro's body. However, there was nobody under the bed that Kyoko was facing. But at that moment, Chihiro noticed that a voice rang out from underneath it. As soon as everyone's attention was focused on Makoto, I was planning to take advantage of that opportunity to take someone hostage. As Chihiro cautiously lowered her head until it was nearly touching the floor, she was able to make out who was talking. Surprisingly, the person hiding there was clinging to the frame of the bed, like a ninja clinging to the ceiling. Presumably, if someone had glanced under the bed quickly, they wouldn't have noticed anybody was there. Though Chihiro had no idea how the person was able to hide under the bed for so long, she could at least understand that their strength was beyond normal human levels. There was no question that the person hiding under the bed was Mikuro Ikusaba. But you pretended not to notice. Why? Mikuro's voice was cold as ice, but Kyoko didn't even flinch as she responded. Because I wanted to hear your side of the story. I knew you were hiding under the bed. Compared to the others, the frame was slightly more pronounced. Chihiro tried comparing the beds to see if this was true, but she couldn't tell the difference at all. Only Kyoko's natural observation skills could let her see something like that. Mikuro seemed to come to a similar conclusion, and appeared from under the bed without making a sound. Her face was stoic and cold. Compared to the bomb inside Monokuma, Chihiro thought she was even more terrifying. However, Mikuro ignored Chihiro. Why am I calling Chihiro? Damn it. Chihiro, and shifted her gaze at Kyoko. She leaned against the wall and let her arms fall to her sides as she threw out another question. Why do you want to hear what I have to say? Kyoko thought about this simple question for a while, as if she were searching within her own heart for the answer. If I have to provide an answer, it's because I wish to remain neutral. Kyoko quietly looked down, I'm currently missing most of my memories. I don't know who I am or what talent I had to be accepted into the school. She could hear Chihiro gasp behind her, but Kyoko didn't mind and continued. But even so, I believe I should listen to what you have to say. Regardless of whether you're good or evil, I must hear all the facts in order to know the truth. Good and evil don't matter. I'll come to a conclusion based on what I see and hear. I think that's the methodology that's been instilled into me. I see. I completely forgot you were like that, Kyoko. But before I listen to what you have to say, I'd like to ask you one question first. What is it? Makuro's reply was completely emotionless. Kyoko presented her a question, as if she were asking it of herself as well. What was my talent that allowed me to attend this academy? The answer to that question was simple. Kyoko, you're the ultimate detective. That answer marked a turning point for both girls. Thank you. I have a better understanding of the situation now. Kyoko slowly raised her head and presented a theory. If my memory loss wasn't just a coincidence, then your group has the ability to erase people's memories. With that in mind, if we take into consideration the situation that unfolded in the gym earlier, I can only come to one possibility. Possibility? Yes. What you said to Byakuya when he thought you were taking Toko hostage. You claim that they met 2 years ago. It's possible that might actually be true. The fact that Makoto called out Makuro's name, the things that Makuro confirmed and denied, Genocide Jack's outlandish claims, these key factors that Kyoko noted using her special observation skills were converging in her mind to form one answer. It's possible that Byakuya and Toko's memories were also erased like mine, but I don't think their circumstances are quite the same as mine. But if our memories can be controlled so freely, it calls into question whether the day Monokuma appeared was really the same day we entered the academy. Like you said, it's possible we've known Toko Fukawa for the last 2 years. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Chihiro cried, still working on connecting her laptop to Monokuma's parts. Kyoko continued, speaking to both Chihiro and Makuro. We thought we were knocked unconscious with sleeping gas the moment we arrived at the school. But it's possible that we were simply made to think that's what happened. For example, we may have already spent the last 2 years at Hope's Peak Academy, and our memories of that time were completely erased. It's even possible that we aren't even ultimates at all. Oof. Just random people who've been implanted with 16 years worth of false memories.
Though Kyoko's claim sounded ridiculous, her face was completely serious. She looked at Makuro once again. Which means,
I'm considering the possibility that your crazy story is actually the truth. Kyoko's declaration filled the room with silence, but she didn't let that silence overwhelm her. Kyoko cut through it with her own words. Without evidence, all I can do is make hypotheses. Hypotheses? Yep.
Hypotheses, whatever.
That's why I want to hear what you have to say, Makuro. I have no intention of blindly believing what you're going to say, or what that self-proclaimed hacker who took over Monokuma said. She paused and lowered her eyes again, then declared with powerful determination. Even so, I intend to come to a conclusion as fairly and objectively as I can. But I can only do that if you trust me and tell me the truth.
Kyoko's conviction was clear from her voice.
Makuro's eyes narrowed slightly, and a tapestry of emotions flashed across her face as she looked toward Kyoko. But when she opened her mouth, her expression and her voice were completely devoid of emotion. That's right. I completely forgot. You were like that. Makuro repeated this to herself softly, then faced Kyoko and declared, That must be why Junko took care to erase more of your memories compared to the others. Very well. I'll tell you everything. And after Makura placed Makoto back onto the bed, she began to mechanically tell a story. The story of a girl who wanted to fill the world with despair. A girl who only felt truly happy when she was filled with despair herself. A plan for despair that began 2 years ago, or perhaps even earlier than that. How the world was currently ruled by despair itself. Makura provided a brief summary of everything she knew about the plan. That's why it sounded even more outrageous than Kyoko had expected. And through her story, Kyoko was able to learn the truth about herself, who she is, and why she came to the academy, the fate of the academy's real headmaster, Kyoko's father. As she listened to Makura's story, Kyoko remained silent the whole time. Her face went blank when she learned her father had died. Perhaps her memory loss and the absurdity of the situation helped lessen the impact somewhat. But there was no guarantee Kyoko would even believe her story. After Makura finished speaking, Kyoko stayed silent. With her unrivaled mental prowess, she was able to listen to Makura's story without interrupting her or dismissing it as nonsense. Makura continued. You don't have to believe me. After all, any pictures that could prove my story are with Junko. All I can do is talk. After she said that, Makura silently walked toward the entrance to the nurse's office. When she arrived at the door, she spoke again without looking back. But even if you don't believe me, you still listened to everything I had to say, so... Kyoko, Chihiro, thank you. After apologizing in such a strange tone of voice, she turned to the bed where Makoto lay, breathing weakly. Make sure Makoto stays rested. When he wakes up, make sure you give him some sports drinks from the dining hall or supply room to drink. Please? Of course, but what are you going to do now? Makura straightened herself up. Despair. I need to make Junko feel despair. Makura continued mumbling to herself as she opened the door. There's nothing else I can do. No. There is something you can do. Makura stopped walking as Kyoko spoke firmly. Regardless of whether Monokuma is really Junko Enoshima or Bashinki Madarai, if you're dealing with him, you won't be able to lay a finger on Makoto. I don't really trust you, but if you're really concerned for Makoto's life, I'm willing to work with you. Unlike Bashinki, who's probably abandoned him already, right? I'm sorry. I don't really work well with others. Makura looked away, then bowed her head as she left the nurse's office. But, I'll do my best. The doors closed and Makura was gone. I'm sorry for involving you in something so dangerous, Chihiro. As she continued to organize the vast amount of information that Makura gave her, Kyoko turned to Chihiro, who was still working on Monokuma. As she trembled with fear, Chihiro slowly looked back at Kyoko.
Kyoko? About what Makura just said now?
Chihiro's face turned pale as she struggled with her words, and Kyoko tried to calm her down. We can't determine if anything she told us was true or not. There's no need to be afraid. But Chihiro shook her head and returned to looking at her laptop.
I think... she's telling the truth.
What are you basing that on?
Well, it looks like Monokuma's really being controlled from the outside.
Part of Monokuma's system had been connected to Chihiro's laptop, and she was analyzing the data within his control system. And it was then that the ultimate programmer noticed something unusual about it.
This control program. I thought it would be another year before the system became fully operational.
Chihiro started trembling so much that she was unable to continue speaking. We can't confirm that, said Kyoko, proposing another possibility to avoid jumping to conclusions. It's possible that a similar program was being developed in secret, but Chihiro adamantly shook her head and said,
No, that's not it. It just looks really familiar to me.
Kyoko looked over Chihiro's trembling shoulders to peer at the screen, and that's when she noticed this program. Chihiro, did you create this? All the ultimate programmer could do was nod weakly. First floor, main hall. Makuro continued moving forward, and was fortunate enough to not encounter Sakura or Mondo. With no interference from anyone, she made her way to the hall as large as the gym, and stood before the sealed main entrance. Suddenly, Monokuma popped out from the shadows to block her path. Within this hall that resembled a nuclear bomb shelter, replete with all manner of heavy weaponry, Monokuma's silhouette was conspicuously out of place here. His laughter rang throughout the room as he wiggled his body from side to side.
What were you doing at the nurse's office? Did you eliminate your rival for Makoto's affections? Or did you help pay a matchmaker instead? Either way, don't you think it's kind of adorable to put Makoto and Kyoko in this kind of situation together? If this was a suspense film, those two would be the last couple standing. But if this was a horror film, they'd just die anyway. The killer was alive all along. Splat goes the blood. Pull out goes the meat. I'm a huge fan of endings where the characters think they're gonna live, but they're really headed to final detonation. Wait, what the hell is detonation? What does that even mean?
Despite Monokuma's angry complaints, Makuro remained unperturbed. She continued to stare icy daggers at Monokuma as she was waiting for him to finish speaking.
Well, anyway, I'm just so sad right now. A regulation-breaking delinquent is disrupting the harmony of this peaceful academy. I can't even keep one of my students from running wild. Time to say goodbye to your incompetent headmaster. I'm gonna use Monokuma evolution to become a big magnum headmaster and mold you into a decent student.
As soon as he said that, Monokuma extended his claws and waddled toward Makuro.
So I'm gonna mold you, then I gotta kill you first.
Right as he finished speaking, Monokuma suddenly charged at Makuro like a spiked volleyball. But Makuro was faster and dodged Monokuma's attack. She jumped back, keeping her distance from Monokuma just in case his claws would extend even longer. Just then, a shadowy figure appeared next to her. Makuro twisted her body to its limits and just narrowly evaded the figure's attack. When she landed on the floor, she immediately saw...
So what does the immortal killer want anyway? Are you gonna tell the others the truth and escape with them? Even though you know what the outside world is like right now?
Two Monokumas were speaking to Makuro in unison.
Honestly, I don't mind if you do that. I can just imagine the look on everyone's face when they discover the truth. It fills me with such heart-throbbing excitement.
The two Monokumas continued to speak in stereo sound.
You said you would destroy my plans, but there's no happy ending waiting for you, no matter which route you take, and you only have yourself to blame for that. Don't tell me you thought they'd be grateful to you, even if you guys escape here. Do you think they'll still forgive you when they get a whiff of that nasty air outside? Some of them might prefer to stay in a school, and some of them might resent you for being kind and showing them truth. But then again, it's all your fault anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they think of you. Monokuma made a little mistake.
Despite facing down two Monokumas, Makuro's expression didn't waver. She understood that controlling two Monokumas simultaneously was a piece of cake for Junko. Makuro drew an arm-length metal bar from seemingly nowhere and readied herself. It was the remains of the IV stand from the nurse's office. She sharpened into a pointed weapon. With her weapon in hand, Makuro responded in a cold, mechanical tone. That's fine. I'm already used to that. None of the fear she felt when Monokuma suggested that Makoto would blame her appeared on her face. Her path was clear to her now, and she calmly issued her demand to Monokuma. Junko, open the gates. The shock of such a straightforward demand left both Monokumas momentarily speechless, but soon they replied.
Huh? Why?
So we can all leave together. Another straightforward answer. Both Monokumas faced each other and began gesturing as if they were whispering to one another. Makuro knew their movements were intended to mock her. Unmoved, she continued to speak to Junko directly. I think they'll understand if I show them the outside world. and then they'll stop doubting Makoto.
You always find new ways to disappoint me, Makuro. Did you forget why the school has an air filtration system?
It's true that the air outside is polluted, but I don't think it'll kill us immediately. Besides, it's better than being trapped in the school and forced to kill each other.
How can you be sure that the others will go along with you? You know what I mean, right? Before the former headmaster got turned into space dust, he interviewed the others and they all agreed that they wanted to stay in the school. And that was before their memories had even been erased. Do you really want to betray their wishes?
Makuro blinked, and slowly stepped forward. I don't really care about their feelings.
Huh?
You're all I need, Junko, so don't worry. I'm always watching out for you. I'm going to make sure you feel despair, and I'm going to make Makoto and the others happy. If you want to revel in your own despair that badly, then I'll trust the hope Makoto gave me and take my chances with them instead of you. Makuro's brief but powerful words caused the Monokumas to turn and talk to each other once again.
Oh my, this doesn't look good at all, Monokuma A. This child doesn't realize her hypocrisy. She's so disappointed that she's starting to reach critical mass, right, Monokuma B?
The two Monokumas looked at Makuro, who seemed ready to destroy them, and said,
What do you think, Monokuma C?
Makuro was taken aback by their question, but her instincts suddenly kicked in and she immediately dodged away. At that moment, a third Monokuma, the claws extended past by where her head had been previously. This new Monokuma unit landed with several spins and faced Makuro, who had clung to the remains of a surveillance camera still attached to the ceiling.
I agree with you, both A and B.
The three Monokumas lined themselves up. To the students locked inside the academy, the sight would have been akin to a nightmare.
Right on!
The three units began speaking in perfect harmony as their 6 eyes looked up at Makuro. Suddenly, they each jumped away in 3 separate directions and kicked off of the walls. The path of each unit's triangular attack all converged in a single point. Makuro, who was still clinging to the ceiling. She was surrounded by razor-sharp claws coming at her from different directions. But the situation wasn't even a nightmare to Makuro. Compared to the time she fended off 3 assassins who had invaded her camp one night, back when she was still a member of Fenrir, this was nothing. This thought crossed Makuro's mind as she dangled from the ceiling with one hand and thrashed her limbs around like a tornado. Intercepted by this move, the Monokumas fell to the floor with a loud crash. Makuro landed on the ground and chased after one of them, brandishing her metal bar. It should be fine. It doesn't say it crashed or anything like that. I think it might be you. Cause like, I'm looking at mine right now. Nothing has dropped. Or frames have dropped, but that was like way earlier maybe? And it doesn't look like it was a big old giant issue. Suddenly, she stopped moving and took a huge leap back. One of the Monokumas exploded with a deafening roar. He had detonated the bomb inside of himself in an attempt to take Makuro down with him. But thanks to her own battlefield instincts, Makuro managed to avoid the explosion. She looked toward the hallway, expecting the explosion to have attracted the attention of Sakura and the others. But she didn't hear any footsteps approaching. Monokuma's voice rang from within the dense smoke.
Oh, you don't have to worry. I already told the other students to assemble in the cafeteria. They were eager to follow my orders after I told them that I disarmed the poison gas and that a special police unit was coming to get them. I'm pretty sure Kyoko and the others are on the cafeteria by now. I'm sure Makoto's with them too. I doubt Sakura will get too rough with him, but I'm sure Byakuya would torture Makoto once he wakes up. I could just imagine him rubbing salt or pouring soy sauce into his open wounds. Man, I'm getting all hot and bothered right now.
As she listened to Monokuma's overlapping voices, Makuro tilted her head slightly and asked, I'm pretty sure they're going to find out that you lied about that special police unit. Are you okay with that?
No worries. Once I've dealt with you, I don't care at all if they find out I was lying. You still don't get it. You're such a disappointment.
It suddenly dawned on Makuro, not the reason why Monokuma didn't care if the students found out he lied, but rather but the voices of the Monokumas in the smoke were gradually decreasing in number. As the smoke started to clear, the shadows of 3 Monokumas appeared. The one that exploded couldn't have revived, so a new one must have come to take its place. But there's no way Makuro only heard 3 Monokumas talking just now. Whew. Oh, I need water. Where's my water? Where'd it go? Where did I put it? Oh, put it over there. Whew. Whew. As if to prove her hearing had been accurate, the Monokuma suddenly made their move. The 3 Monokumas bent over and began twirling their upper bodies. From behind them, new Monokumas emerged like after-image brought to life. The second row of Monokumas mimicked the earlier ones with only 1 frame of delay, revealing even more Monokumas behind them. Eventually, Makuro realized that there were 3 rows containing 10 Monokumas each.
Did you know this is called a circle dance?
Monokuma's 30 voices spoke in perfect harmony as they divulged information that had nothing to do with the current situation. Makuro already knew that multiple Monokumas were positioned throughout the academy, but only Junko knew how many Monokumas actually existed. Makuro had no way of knowing if these 30 Monokumas were part of a larger contingent? Whatever. The flock of 2-tone teddy bears continued to twirl around. Makuro felt like she was being bombarded with hypnotic images. Anyway, but faced with this abnormal sight, the ultimate soldier remained calm and maintained her focus. She was nothing like the girl who had panicked earlier in the gym when Makoto was impaled. As she stood before 30 emissaries of despair, she slowed her breathing and allowed her heart rate to accelerate. It was instinct, not fear or panic, that sent her blood racing throughout her body, speeding up the reaction time of her cells. As her sensors sharpened, the Monokumas began speaking to her again.
Don't worry, I'll make sure Makoto doesn't die. As long as everyone lives, I can reset their memories as many times as I want. That's right, all your effort, hope, dreams, and determination are going right in the garbage heap.
The Monokumas turned speaking in groups of 10, as if the mastermind controlling the Monokumas wanted to show off her ability to manipulate them. However, the ultimate soldier knew what the true purpose behind all this was. She strained her ears to their limit and noticed a certain sound hidden among the Monokuma's voices. Makuro's face remained perfectly still as she kicked off the floor. The moment she moved to the side, a roaring sound shook the entrance hall. The ceiling-mounted turrets in front of the gate started raining bullets down on Makuro. The Monokumas were just the mastermind's decoy while she tried to blow her away. As if further trapping her, the Monokumas charged at Makuro through the storm of bullets. Makuro guessed that the mastermind programmed their movements in advance so they wouldn't get hit by a single bullet. She ran for the gates, evading waves of bullets and claws every step of the way, programming 30 Monokumas on 2 turrets, while also predicting Makuro's escape route. This would be considered impossible for anyone, but Makuro knew it was possible for Junko. As ultimate despair, she possessed despair-inducing abilities that surpassed the capabilities of any normal human. Her display of power was only for filling Makuro with despair. Despair. The scene playing out in front of Makuro was brimming with despair. The adorably deadly Monokumas laughed and danced like reapers as bullets whizzed through the air. It was despair to the point of absurdity, and it was all for Makuro. But in the presence of such despair, Makuro felt a strange serenity. For me? Junko's doing this for me? Junko, are you watching me right now? In the end, perhaps Makuro really was a disappointment. She clenched her fists. Junko, thank you. The sound of gunfire overshadowed her whisper, and Makuro fell completely silent. As a member of ultimate despair, Makuro's heart was filled with joy. Though she was filled with emotion, her eyes had lost their sparkle. Silence filled the air. Even the gunfire from the turret seemed to stop for a moment. But that was only an illusion to the one controlling Monokuma. Something strong enough to silence the gunfire and avoid being picked up by the sensors spread through the school, with Makuro at the center. I'll make sure I do this right. With that final thought, she closed her mouth and turned off her emotions. As she ran through the waves of scorching bullets, the air around her began to grow colder. As this coolness spread into her heart, it began to beat in a mechanical fashion. Several seconds later, Makuro's body and mind melded together and became one with her surroundings. Her temperature now dominated the battlefield. Despair bullets and Monokumas filled the area. Makuro predicted their movements and jumped into the air without any hesitation. One of the Monokumas jumped at her, but she avoided his attack, kicked his body, and launched herself into midair. Bullets pierced through the space Makuro was previously occupying, striking the fallen Monokuma right through its internal bomb. The impact of the bullet caused it to explode, sending fiery Monokuma parts everywhere. As she rode the blast wave, Makuro balanced herself in midair as she kicked away 2-3 Monokumas that leapt after her. She moved so gracefully she was practically flying. In contrast, the Monokumas threw themselves into the path of oncoming bullets, exploding one after the other. Some of them exploded near the main entrance, but their blasts didn't even leave a scratch. With full control over the entrance hall, Makuro evaded bullets and confirmed that the bombs inside Monokumas weren't enough to destroy the door, but she refused to stop. Makuro needed to get information on what she must do to escape the academy. She had no desire to kill Junko. Makuro wanted to fill Junko with despair by instilling hope into the future of Makoto and the other students. It was Makuro's ultimate goal: get information. In contrast to her determination, her mouth stayed shut. But that does not mean Makuro was not completely speaking to Junko. This situation, this battle of death and destruction, was a conversation of sorts for Makuro. All she knew how to do was fight. She thought she wasn't interested in anything else. She thought she didn't need anything else. All Makuro needed to be was a sword to fulfill her sister's desire for despair. That purpose alone was the crux of her existence, and she lived her entire life convincing herself that she couldn't do anything else. That's why power was like a language to Makuro. A battle to the death revealed more about her heart than mere words ever could. Her words were in the wind of savagery that blows across the battlefield, uprooting others who also speak the language of violence. This was also true even against her sister. When Junko would berate her sister, Makuro couldn't talk back. All she could do was cower and apologize profusely. But it's different now. For the first time, Junko was using a language her sister actually recognized. A child of despair who tore the world apart was speaking to her sister with the language of power. Makuro's heart filled with joy. For that reason, she strengthened her focus on her conversation with Junko, and that emotion began to gradually disappear. On this frigid battlefield, Makuro continued her heated conversation. Endless rounds of despair fired from the school's turrets. But Makuro's words intercepted every last violent shot that threatened to shatter her body and mind in half. She quickly realized that the Monokumas hadn't decreased in number at all, no matter how many she kept destroying. Not only that, she noticed that more Monokumas had been joining the fray until there were nearly 50 of them for Makuro to fight. But Makuro's resolve wouldn't break so easily. As she continued to wield her power, her heart began to fill with something that was neither hope nor despair. She learned despair from being abandoned by Junko, and she learned hope from her acts of violence. For Makuro, who had no interest in this world, the small space in front of the gate was a reflection of her life, a representation of her perfect world. This disappointing girl, filled with endless disappointment, and knew of no other way to live, continued her lonely dance. She surrendered herself to the rhythm of despair, which accompanies the music of hope.
And you know what?
It might actually be done.
My throat hurts! Woo! Short stream, kind of tired.
I'm tired. My voice is dying.
Long periods of talking. Killing on the voice. Yep. Yep. That is the end of our stream. Yep. Because I'm always like, I'm just gonna die. Let's insert a bookmark. Woo. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. My throat hurts. I've been drinking water, but I don't think water is gonna like bring back my voice for long. It feels like it's just like stretching out the vocal cords, whatever. I'm learning how to use my voice again. Hooray! So my voice is like, I ran through a gym. I'm probably gonna have like a hoarse voice eventually. We'll see. But you know, there's that. I put a bookmark on you. You're fine. Yeah. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining. You're all amazing. You know. But yeah, this is the end of the stream because I'm dying slowly. All that kind of stuff. Found more mangly. Yeah, probably. But anyway, see you guys later. Probably another day. Woo. Yeah, we're gonna continue this thing because it's actually really interesting. Yeah. Bye everybody, thanks for joining. Sorry for the short stream, but reading, ooh, that's a lot. It's a lot of reading for like 2 hours. Ooh. Maybe one day I'll be better. One day. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Good night. I'm gonna go pass out now. Sleepy time. Woo.